Hello, this is Offsite Dirt Construction News, and we are featuring Source 2050 in our Marketplace Monday storyline. Today I'm here with Mark. How are you, Mark?
I'm awesome, Audrey. Always ready for more marketplace. And today we're diving into materials. And well, there needs to be a source for materials. Lo and behold, we have our guest from Source 2050, our good friend John Knapp. He is a name you've probably seen around for a few years. So since the Passive House Accelerator, he was an early advisor to kick that into the marketplace. John has a background with technology and IP as an attorney, and he also practices what he preaches. He has taken an existing home, renovated it several years back to the Passive House Plus standard here. And joining as well as John, we have our good friend Shannon Pendleton of Source 2050, and what she does with this group is really unique. She is the passive house consultant for Source 2050. So everyone, please welcome John and Shannon.
Hello, thanks very much, Mark. Great to be here. Hello, Audrey.
Hi. Shannon, it's so good to see you.
Great to see you too. Fantastic to be here. Thanks for having us.
Well, we're going to jump right in, and we're going to start with our very first question for you. How is 20 Source Marketplace allowing architects, designers, and engineers to find specific solutions for their passive house and energy efficient projects? John, I'm going to have you start us off.
Sure thing. So really, the idea for Marketplace came from conversations with actual practitioners, with architects, engineers, and contractors that were frustrated with how difficult it was to find products that meet the specs for their individual projects. A lot of Googling, a lot of trying to find that brochure from that trade show they went to 6 months ago, vaguely aware that there was a solution, but I can't remember what it is now. And then if they were able to find it, struggling often with vendor websites that are not well organized. They don't tend to present the information that matters for that specific project up front. They wind up fishing through the tear sheets and the rest of it, trying to find that R value or the compressive strength or whatever it is, fire rating. It's just hard to pull together. Never mind, see if there are multiple options, multiple possible solutions that might have attributes, pros and cons that you can weigh against each other. It was just not possible, not without a lot of work and a lot of inefficiency. So what we saw was there was a real need for a marketplace, for a place where all of these products could be brought together, organized. And I think one of the most important things we do is really spend time with each product that we onboard to go through all of the information, all of the specifications, the performance data, certifications, testing, and so forth, and pull all that out into a searchable, filterable system, so that you can go into a category on Source 2050, like membranes or insulation, and you have on the left column a long list of filters. And so if you need to hit this compressive strength, you need this fire rating, so on and so forth, you click those boxes and 100 results suddenly becomes 30 results. You click a couple more filters, it's down to 2 or 3. And then you can compare those side by side and look at all of the specs that those products have and make the decision what's the best product for your project. And that includes lead time, availability, and pricing. So we feel like it's something that's been needed for a long time. There have been a lot of attempts at sort of catalogs or spec databases, and they get you so far, but what they importantly don't have is availability in your area, pricing, shipping, and you can't actually purchase them. You're just left to try to find a distributor or hope that the sales rep from your region responds to your email on the website. You can't actually action it. You can't actually make that purchase. So we thought it was really important to be able to do that, not just find it, but also make that purchase.
So Shannon, do you have anything that you'd like to elaborate on top of that topic? I think he covered a huge process of what the website or what the solution makes. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to specific best solutions that you guys are offering on Source 2050?
Absolutely, because I think John covered everything that really starts people off when they don't know who we are at all. What's wonderful is when people get to know us a little bit more deeply and start to use the site, is how user-friendly it is from really two perspectives. One's an automated way where you can jump on and get all of the wonderful filters that John was mentioning, much like an experience when you shop online through maybe an Amazon warehouse, or you go to the supermarket, you're in the organic aisle. You get right where you want to be immediately and can start to compare these products. But then we have that personal touch. So we have an automation side and we have that personal touch too. So I'm the in-house passive house consultant, and what that means for my role and for teams that come to Source 2050 is they can explain their project once to one person who can then talk about a range of different products, which helps them not have to go to every manufacturer separately and have to re-explain their project. Every project is climate-based, typically, when we're talking about high performance. And then the goals that they are centering often their certifications around are very product specific. They can or can't have toxins inside or outside the envelope, or they have a certain structural component that they're interested in diving into and figuring out how to thermally break that so that they aren't creating condensation or moisture. So to have a passive house consultant on the team for free as a service when you're vetting products is really, really great. And then knowing the combined mission of Source and the combined mission with Passive House Accelerator, and being able to use all those videos and all that experience, the years of work that have gone into so many products and projects all around the globe, and often in the specific location where clients are talking to us from, we can say, oh, well, look, it was used right here. It was used this way. They considered this, or, you know, if you don't like this one, or you want 2 backups or 3 backups, we can kind of help you create a spec book that's highly personalized, but that you can quickly automate, share with your team, drop on social media. You can even change the ownership of it so that you can hand it off to another team member. So that's really kind of the exciting part of my day-to-day. I get to jump right into projects with folks and help them make the best decisions for their clients.
It is so exciting. And a question that's common in the marketplace is where do I find this? Where do I find these things? So all of us are very entrenched in this as a day-to-day. And in the day-to-day world, that doesn't mean we have a Rolodex of options and choices. And for the folks first plunging into this, it's an endeavor. And why not have that nice little black book to go from? And so to take it to the next level, I'll have you start us off on this one first, Shannon, is Source 2050, right? It has a spec list function, right? And this lets the design and the engineering team share these solutions directly with the build team involved. Can you walk us through what that looks like?
Absolutely. Let me share my screen with you and I will give you a tour. How does that sound? Can you see my screen? Fantastic. So this is what the jump page looks like when you hop onto the website, source2050.com, super easy to find. And immediately, you know, priority number 1, the planet. Priority number 2, all of these brands that you have to choose from. And this is actually an older shot of the site. We have even more brands on here now. And then within those brands, multiple products within each brand. So it's wonderful to be able to have so many different choices at your fingertips. The first thing we want folks to do when they hop on the site is create an account dashboard. So set up your profile, put your account details in, and get yourself started on the right foot, because then when you talk to us, we can jump in on the back end and say, oh, we see you made a spec book. We see what your project's called. So from here, we can start to browse categories. You can go in by general topic. And while we're working on version 1 right now and looking at version 1, we're keenly aware of version 2, which will also have a CSI formatting search function. But you can browse right here through the main topics, which will open up a little bit of a deeper flyout, or you can put something right into the search bar. So I like to throw parapet in there, or thermal break in there, or anything general that I'm looking for at the moment, and a whole host of products will show up at your fingertips. So once you start to learn these functions, what you'll see is as you dive deeper, here are some of the categories on the left that you can start to click on and sort by. One of my favorites is red list free. So if I have a client with a high sensitivity to toxic materials, I'm going to use that button constantly. And when I get a number of products up, if I think one is more suited to my project than another, I'm going to hit this compare button right here, this little two-way arrow. And that's going to add this product to my list of things to compare. And once I've done that a few times, I'll end up with a wonderful compare list like this, much like a grid or a matrix. And so I'll get each one of these side by side with a description that then breaks down into everything from dimensional, certification, compressive strength, right down to whether or not it's in stock. So this is what is missing from so much of the comparisons that I was doing before this function was available. I was pulling spec sheets and installation manuals out and going through them all and trying to figure out, okay, here's an apple. How do I find another apple? I keep finding oranges. I keep finding bananas. So this gives you apples next to apples, oranges next to oranges, bananas next to bananas, and whether or not it's in stock. Because let's face it, you can spec anything. If you can't get it, it doesn't really help your project. So
I love the ease and the technology. It's so beautiful to be able to resource these things so fast, and like you were saying, to be able to pull all those lists together, Shannon, it must have been just so chaotic, and to have something so streamlined and in view and to know your direction, it must save thousands of hours.
Well, and that's the beauty of automating this. So right now, architects all specify differently. Builders all price differently. Yes, there are leading softwares, but they're very subscription-based, they're very costly, and they often don't play well in a sandbox with each other. So by creating a platform that's fully automated, that's free, and you can go on and do this yourself and create that spec book, hand it to the builder, and they can create pricing, and they can contact us anytime. And if they have, need for bulk pricing, we can help them out. So this is where, if you find a product you really like, because you've compared it, you add it to your spec list. And once you create a spec list, I've created many for many teams, help them create their own as well. You can put all kinds of information into here. And then you can look at it side by side. And typically when an architect or a design team member specifies something and creates a spec book, they're only putting in a quantity of one because they're not doing takeoffs, right? They're just saying, this is the one that suits what I need at this point. This is another one that works well with that in the adhesion test or, pre-blower door test or whatever I'm looking for permeability rating. And they put in a quantity of one, and then they go ahead and share it either by print, PDF, email, or sorry, I thought I had my social media button up here. You'll have to forgive me. They can share it through social media as well and just hand it off. And then the builder can put all of the quantities in and create that piece as well. But once you get to the live site, what's really beautiful about the live site is, for instance, if I put in thermal break right here, it's going to bring up a number of products, and it's going to give us the ability to look at them almost as they were used on the building site as well. So you can see right away that this beautiful therm block, where it goes, how it gets flashed, where it belongs on the site. So it really helps to see a lot of the information straight away when you're looking at it. What do you think, Audrey? Does that look like something you'd want to use from time to time?
I do. I think it's amazing. And I think the detail, the technology, offering all these solutions to come together, the ease of being able to use it, and then also having, like you were saying, a personal touch of somebody to ask questions to is it a phenomenal marketplace. I mean, how you guys have designed it from the very beginning. It's always the great idea for need. What do we need in the marketplace? And this obviously is such a big component with high performance building science, passive house, with all these new trends that are people are wanting, right? People are getting smarter and healthier about their choices, about their builders, about their developments. We have this 2030 rules that are coming globally about emissions and measuring emissions and how we have to retrofit buildings. This makes an ease to sourcing, being able to retrieve these materials so well and so nice in the marketplace. Mark, what do you think?
So it's something that I've always had haphazardly, let's say, in my own Google Forms and in my own telephone as from the world of manufacturers and for the world of contractors. But it's exactly it. It's what this delivers what we've never had, that connectivity of an all-in-one spot. If you equate it to what you'd find on the Amazon, right? You could go there and you're going for the world of bananas. Wonderful, fine. They've got bananas there. However, it's too vast. And the thing that I like when Shannon was flipping around is the advancements. So it's a novel that's being written as we go because these advancements are coming in. Most recently, John and the team were in Germany, right? And before they were at other conventions, and they're coming back and they're delivering what they found in the marketplace, and they're adding this to the list. So that definition of this is a novel, that doesn't mean this book is published. That means this book is always being added. So the marketplace will always come up with something new. And the fact that now that's together in one spot, and there's never been in all my reach, there's never been an interface of those folks that have spent months, let's say years, planning projects and putting those specs and having that transfer to the multiple bidders on a project. Like sometimes you don't have a team that we would like to see. You have multiple bidders. Think of the time saving alone of saying, oh, here, XYZ group, and here, 423 group, right? This is all in. I want to share with you my source, and that expedites things and it keeps it together. Whew, beautiful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, John, I have a question for you. How do build teams, how can they purchase and source products directly to their job site? Is that a possibility with Source 2050?
Absolutely, it's part of the core features, right? So, and by way of introduction to that answer, just to underscore points that Mark and Shannon made really well, is we really came at this as a we thought that a marketplace would be helpful, but we wanted to be sure. So we spent a lot of time talking with everybody involved in these transactions. That includes architects, engineers, builders, vendor reps, manufacturer reps. They're trying to sell the product. So really kind of had these early sessions where we invited people in and sat down and said, look, if there was a marketplace, would it be helpful? What would it have to do to make your life easier, to improve your workflows? And we really took that, that initial feedback seriously and built what it sounded like everyone would need. And the two features that we knew from that feedback were going to be needed was the filtering system, the searchable system, being able to find these products. Because we even saw it with the accelerators, as you mentioned. I've been an advisor since the early days before we found Zach, if you can imagine that there was such a time. So for the accelerator. But in those early events, it was like every presentation, people would present a project and people would be hitting the chat right away. Wait, what was that? What did you use? Where did you get that? Do you have a number for a distributor? So it's clear, and there's so much innovation happening. There's so many products coming into the market every day. Mark said we were over in Germany at the PHI conference, met incredible vendors over there that want to come to the US market, that people that we're going to be bringing in this year, that everyone will be hearing about in the next 3, 4, 5 months, don't exist in the US market. Just explosion of innovation happening. There needed to be a way to organize it and make it available, number one. And then number two, the handoff from the design and engineering team to the builders, right? Which comes to answering your question. The spec list function that Shannon just gave us a great tour of, is that, right? Is the design team can go through and find the products that will meet their spec and put them together. So when it comes to the handoff to the contractor's not just getting drawings and then being left in, hanging in the wind to figure out where they're going to find this stuff and how are they possibly going to meet these specs. They've got lists of products, and they're not just theoretically products, they are actual products that are available, that are priced, and that we can arrange shipping for to their job sites. So we have some great partners among the distributors that we have for the products, and also third-party logistics companies that we worked with. So we can take any product on our site. There's a few exceptions where there's some regionality, there's some exclusives that we have to navigate, and those will be grayed out if they're not available in your territory, but those are very, very few, and we're trying to even overcome those few limitations. But the vast majority of them are available throughout North America. So if you give us your job site location, you build out your spec list, you're saying this is where it's going, this is what I want to have shipped there, we will take that back and work directly behind the scenes with all of the vendors that are responsible for those projects, and hopefully be able to consolidate them so that the project manager is not playing air traffic controller with 6 different LTLs coming through, dropping off one pallet of this and one box of that and one box of this. We'll be able to bundle them together and hopefully get it all there on 1 or 2 trucks. So it's so much easier for the job site management team to have one shipment coming in. Also be able to stagger them, and Shannon alluded to version 2, are already in the works, thinking about what that's going to be. Tighter integration with project management software, so the build team can say, out of this whole spec list that we've put together, these are the items I need for the basement, right? And they need to come first. So you can tie that right to the Gantt chart in your project management software, so you know that this all has to be ordered to be here in time for when that sprint of the project works. You don't have to order the rest of it until later, but also have all the lead times there, so you get a flag to say, hey, you're supposed to start this sprint of work in 3 weeks. You got products tagged to that sprint that have a 3-week lead time. You want to get those orders in now if you want them available for when that work's supposed to start on the job site. So we're very excited about what we've already achieved for builders for job site delivery, and version 2 is going to really take that to the next level and really integrate with the existing software that people are using and their existing workflows.
That is so brilliant, John. And Audrey, it's a perfect segue to what you were talking about, which is tapping into the mission of why we're doing this. Why give away these things for free to get people to use the site? Because the mission is to get products specified and priced as early in design as possible, so that more projects can succeed more quickly, so that we can build better, faster, and more accurately, and together with everybody on board right away, right? So what we're hoping for really is, as people use this, is to give us that constructive criticism. Tell us if there's something else you want, because really we're building it for you. We're building it for your teams the way you want to use it the most. So right now, when you check out, we're setting it up so that you can check out all of the documents that hold on to all of these products, so that you don't have to go to each manufacturer and download each one individually. You can put them into your cart and check them out, like almost a manual at the end of your project. The other piece is, as John mentioned, connecting your site to where these products are coming from. So as we've been building the site and asking all these questions of everyone we're working with, we've made some incredible relationships which allow us to dream even bigger. So right now we have some environmental product declaration sheets attached to products that support that system of being able to account for carbon in the upstream and downstream activities of the production of the product itself. So what would be wonderful is if then that is out of the manufacturer's hand and going to the build site, there's only one way to figure out what that carbon footprint's going to be, and that's from sale to delivery. And so we have a unique opportunity to have all of the upstream activity and then add on that layer to the site. So we really are being able to report for carbon in a way that can't be captured unless you're doing it manually yourself. So it's really fun to be able to work with folks like buildingtransparency.org or Smart EPD, and also all of the products that are incubating right now, that are about to come to market, that we all want to use, but we need someone to try them first, show us that they're going to be tried, true, and tested. They have all their testing materials done. They have all their certifications, and give them a vehicle to come forward too, so that we're not always only looking at products that have been vetted by really big conglomerates, and we get things like Glavel that way, which is so popular now. But as Mark remembers, and I remember, there was a time when we all wanted to try it, but we couldn't get our hands on it yet. And we've got it at Source 2050. So if you want to check out Glavel, it's a recycled glass that replaces gravel and gives you an insulative property right under your slab. And it's incredible. It's a great new invention, but it's an example of one product that is just a beginning stage of what's to come.
It's the true dream work and setup for collaboration, right? Transfer of knowledge that happens truly while people are sleeping. And that's the interesting part. Our global marketplace has allowed for people designing projects, let's say in New Hope, Pennsylvania, right? And that project could be happening in Montana, and you could have a designer down in Phoenix that's working with a project team out of a factory in Atlanta or Houston. So the fact that that information transfers in our sleep and that structure is there for that dream work is beautiful. It is the Build Better marketplace. It is Source 2050 right here on Marketplace Monday with Offsite Dirt. Thank you, John. Thank you, Shannon. And Audrey, I can't wait for our next topic.